hopefully this is just going to be another instance where it doesn't take the first time, but takes the second time. This is getting ridiculous. I don't know what the hell is the problem with streaming to YouTube that it always seems to crash the first time I try. Like, I don't know if crashing is the first time, but it's like unable to connect to server and start the broadcast. Like, when it says it's live. I haven't had that problem before, but just like recently it just started to be a problem. I'm not sure why. But anyway, welcome to Pixels Plays Gone Home Part 2. I know I said in the last part that I wasn't really considering doing another stream, but I also kind of just gave some thought to like the live stream friendliness of this game, and I came to the conclusion that it actually is kind of live stream friendly. It's just not necessarily friendly for an upstart live streamer such as myself, because I have next to no one in my chat most of the time. So, you know, I can't get that. Like, this would be really great for a live stream for someone who has an audience that tunes in every time, because they can like be like, hey, like check this thing or do that thing, like go over to this place and you might find something. Like, they can guide you through the experience and help you to find all these little things that you can find in the world, and that's actually like really interesting, and that would be a great way to play this game. Unfortunately, I don't have that. So why am I doing this? Well, I've looked at some walkthroughs. I'm kind of just wanting to. It's. I don't actually have OCD, I don't think, but you know that part of me that wants to, you know, to actually like complete the game on stream, and you know, kind of like, why not? And like, why and why not, kind of, I think why not kind of won out this time. Also, I should mention that the first part was copyright claimed, which is really surprising to me, because I got the impression that like majority of the audio tapes that you find in the game are like either indie music or actually like recorded by the developers, and would therefore not be like content ID because they like want this game to be shared. Though the song that I think I listened to the longest, it sounded actually kind of good, so it's possible it was a copyrighted song, or like, I mean, they're all technically copyrighted, but I mean, it would potentially be like through a label or something that would do content ID stuff. I'm not honestly not sure if I care enough to try and file a counterclaim or anything. Like, in a way, it constitutes fair use, but like, I don't really commentate a whole lot as of yet, so I don't know. Like, it would just, if it would just be a matter of like, I wouldn't get like any kind of strike against me if it just like, if it was rejected. I'm not sure how that particular part of the process works. Because I don't want to necessarily get a strike for like trying to file a counterclaim. Like, for me, it's just a matter of like, if it can't hurt to try to counterclaim, I think I would. But if it can get me a strike and get my channel like limited in a substantial way, like I couldn't live stream, for example, which is the only thing I'm really doing right now, then I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't. But if it's just a matter of like, if I filed the claim and it's basically a tentative claim, like I'm just saying like, hey, this is part of a Let's Play. You know, would you make an exception for that because it's part of a larger thing? It's not like I'm just trying to upload the song so people can listen to the song. It's part of, you know, let's play. And they were like, okay, yeah, we'll remove the claim. That's well and good. Um, but I'm not sure if like they would then like have the right to give me a strike and then limit my account, which I don't know. Like if an actual person, human being, has to see the claim and then basically issue the strike, rather than just like they would have like the option issue a strike or like just say like no, we still want to have a claim on this. We feel like there's too much of the music in there. Um, Unless you like go and like manually mute it out or something, which is another thing I might consider doing. Um, but I have to put an annotation to explain like, oh, this is like a copyrighted song, and I wasn't aware that it was a copyrighted song. Otherwise, I just would not bother with the tapes at all. Um, which I probably moving forward, I will not bother with any of the tapes because I just don't want to deal with copyright claims if I can avoid it. And here I can. So anyway, apparently all or most of the secret passages are, from what I'm gathering, they require you to find a map that like shows the hidden passage, which makes sense on a certain level. Like it makes sense is the fact that you can't read that particular like journal page that just is randomly located somewhere for some reason instead of just a part of a larger journal. Um, I do kind of like that. Even despite the fact that this is a first-person game, like you are like playing as a person who like has their own thoughts on things. Um, I did find a screenshot of that note, and yeah, it was very intimate details. Not like explicit, but yeah. And I didn't mean to do that. I'm okay. So I thought I found a map somewhere. Hmm. Apparently, in the sewing room there is a table with a map, which I thought I already looked at. Hmm. Okay. So it's through closet in mom and dad's room. Ah, here we go. So, it's marked on the map. But yeah, like even if you know where the passages are, you don't necessarily like have access to them. Like from what I've gathered. Which I don't know, feels kind of just a little weird that like, I guess like you have no reason to push on these panels or whatever, because you're like really looking for secret passages. Although like once you reach the point where like you discover, hey, there's secret passages in the house, and, like shouldn't you be like feeling every single wall, everywhere? Like, I don't know. I think these are repeating. Oh, this is how you find the secret panels. Evidence of a supernatural discovered 0. That's how I'm supposed to find the secret panels. This leads into the library. We'll find out that Mr. Green did it with the lead pipe. Okay. Well, it's one of these panels, I think. It's probably marked on my map. Yeah, it should be like aha. Oh, Ouija board. It's like Uncle Oscar. This is the locker combo, which I've already entered. Okay, so what? Okay, head back upstairs toward the attic. Take the first hallway to the right to find the other. What? Or is it or is that the other? Yeah, that's the one. I'm following the locker here. I think it's probably I'm not sure how you're supposed to know what the other hidden compartment is. Besides the fact that I guess you know that there are hidden compartments in the house. So it just like unlocks.
Sam. Sam. Hello. Sam. Sam, where are you? Really? I need to talk to you. Please be there. Hi, Mom.
Okay. I was to listen to it again. I think it's probably Lonnie. So, I guess the map. Hmm. This is the West Hall, but I don't think I have that marked. Wait, maybe I do. Huh. And now I legitimately have the combination. Hmm. Okay, find a staircase going back up to the first floor. I guess in that room that didn't have A light switch? Or didn't have a functioning light? Or wait, oh, it's probably for here.
I don't get Lonnie sometimes. Like, her band, and our zine, and her hair, and everything are all anti-authority. But I watch her in JROTC, and she's doing drills in perfect formation, following orders, no question. And there's all this stuff in the news about don't ask, don't tell. Like, she's going to join the army and then have to lie? About who she is? She said they don't need to know what they don't need to know. Like it was no big deal. This from the girl who trashed her locker to, like, defend my honor. I've learned when to stop arguing, though. I don't think Lonnie even gets Lonnie sometimes.
Hey, we unlock a perk for this? Dang. That's not the kind of game. Is this Oregon? Or... Hmm. 1963. Is that for the basement safe? Hmm. Hey, isn't that the father? Or the grandfather, I suppose? Who, like, sent a letter that was critical of your father's book? I was trying to remember where the safe was. I don't remember what the combination was. Aha, okay, well. Um. No, I gotta look up. I just need to know what the combination is because I think I'm pretty sure I found it. I just. I think that was what I found. Oh man, check his flash again. It's from a strange sister. I can't read that. Bunch of bottles. Morphine. More morphine. Have drug addiction or just. Yeah, probably. Oil flow. I can't remember exactly where I found the. Oh, I think wasn't it again? Yep, it's 1963. Okay, so I did find it. I guess that's for like the morphine, like receipt or something. Even though it has nothing else on it but the number. Okay.
I had an interesting talk with Mom and Dad tonight. One you were never gonna need to have. I mean, you've known, right? I've known. I've known since, like, She-Ra. Mom and Dad didn't, I guess. But they saw the zine and the stuff on the locker, and they were like, is there something we should know about you and Lonnie? And so here's the thing. I was prepared for them to be mad, or disappointed, or start crying, or something. But they were just in denial. You're too young to know what you want. You and Lonnie are just good friends. You just haven't met the right boy. It's a phase. That's what I didn't see coming. That they wouldn't even respect me enough to believe me. Well, joke's on them, because they're in for one very long phase. Daniel finally came over to get his game. I'd been dreading it. But he brought this story with him that I wrote when we were little. I started reading it, and then there I was, crying at the kitchen table. He asked what was wrong, and I was thinking about how we used to be friends, how much I'd taken for granted. But instead, I told him about school, and Dad, and Lonnie. And then how sorry I was that I wasn't his friend anymore. He gave me a hug and said it was going to be okay. For some reason, I almost believed him.
Look at very bit of power outage recently. Generic milk. We found a label. What happened in here? And like not fully finished moving in yet? I don't know. Not about it, cassette. Look, there's an alternate cover or something, or like a second printing or whatever. It's like the greenhouse. Oh, the kitchen's being renovated.
I asked Lonnie what she had to do to get ready to ship out for basic training. She said, not a lot, really. You're not allowed to bring anything with you. You have no possessions, no contact with the outside world while you're in basic. You just train hard every day, and then you deploy from there. So, they'll just send her away. To who knows where. The other side of the country? The other side of the world? My mind, can't process it. She's really going to be gone. Just gone.
Combos. So it's second printing. That's the greenhouse. That's just the closet. There we go. It looks like it's in addition to the house. Okay.
We agreed our last night together would be our happiest ever, and we'd forget tomorrow was going to come at all. It worked for a while. We had a good time seeing Oscar off, then ran up to the attic to look through our photos, to find one for Lonnie to take with her. And looking at them, I realized they were all in the past, and there wouldn't be any more. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I cried. And she held me. She said she knew it was hard, but life would move on. I said I didn't want my life to keep moving without her. That's when she cried too. I was so exhausted. I must have fallen asleep like that, in her arms. In the morning, I woke up. And I was finally alone.
I bet there's any trophies for this.
Lonnie had her going away show with her band tonight. She's so incredible on stage. When she was singing, I could practically forget everything. That we only had 48 hours left. That I don't know what comes next. That I can't live without her. Then she dedicated the last song to me. I couldn't take it. I was out on the curb in the alley, sobbing till my ribs hurt. I would follow her anywhere, Katie. But I can't. Where she's going. After a long time, she found me. She said she was sorry. She said, I wish things could be different. I just wanted to make you happy. I said, I don't think you can anymore.
Let's see. Uncle who did something psychotic. Yep, I am for sure.
The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic and wait.
Hoping this is going to be the conclusion of the game. I'm kind of scared to... what I might find.
Oh my God. Katie, I fell asleep in the attic, in Lonnie and my old spot, and I missed the first 2 calls. I just barely caught the third one before the machine got it. And it was Lonnie, on a payphone. She'd been on the bus to Basic, and she said she couldn't think of anything but me and us, and that she couldn't go through with it, with the Army and being a part and all of it. And so she got off the bus in Salem. She said, "Sam, I want you to pack up everything you can and get in your car and come find me. And let's just drive until we find somewhere for us." And she asked me if I could do that. And I said yes. Yes.
Okay, well, that was more upbeat than I thought it would be.
Katie, I'm so sorry that I can't be there to see you in person, that I can't tell you all this myself. But I hope as you read this journal and you think back, that you'll understand why I had to do what I did. And that you won't be sad, and you won't hate me, and you'll just know that I am where I need to be. I love you so much, Katie. I'll see you again someday. Love, Sam.
No, no, no! Mute it. This is probably copyrighted music. This is probably copyrighted music too. Let's go to PlayStation Store. That's silent. Okay. Probably not as copyrighted as the actual, although this is only a microphone audio that's being broadcast, I don't know if it includes the music from my Star Trek Next Generation wallpaper. So anyway, that was, like, I kind of got choked up at the end there a little bit. I had to admit, like, that was actually kind of a fairly happy ending, all things considered. Like, I was half expecting, like, find out that she hung herself or something in the attic. Although that would require modeling a human being. But even then, like, it wouldn't be exceptionally difficult. I don't know. Like, it was, they wouldn't have to like animate it beyond. Never mind. Let's not go into that dark imagery. Um, I don't think there was really any implication that she was actually having suicidal thoughts anyway. Um, but yeah, this is like a very interesting game, and kind of like the first of its kind. Like, as far as I know, like I don't think walking simulator really is the right term for it. I think for a game like Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, that's definitely what I call walking simulator. This is more of an exploration game. Um, of sorts. I think they call them. I think that. Oh, I earned a trophy for beating the game. I guess. There we go. Back at the title screen. Um, Sorry to everyone who worked on the game, who had their credit there. I just don't want to deal with a copyright claim again. Although I didn't really deal with the first one, but yeah, I prefer to be able to, to monetize my videos. Anyway, yeah, I think the term which I heard applied to another game that I recently actually purchased um, was first person experience. I think that's a pretty good term for games like this. Um, I think other games, I think maybe even Dear Ashford probably uh, could be thought more as walking simulators. I think Everyone's Gone to the Rapture kind of feels like a walking simulator, just from what I've seen of it. Um, uh, like this, I think works because it's a house. Uh, it's fairly easy to navigate. Aside from some of the secret passages, which are a little, in things that are maybe a little bit hard to find. But I wouldn't chalk up the bad games on it. It's really just me not quite properly searching every nook and cranny as well as I could have. Um, I think I found pretty much everything. There may be a few things I missed, but and of course I did the locker thing out of order. But um, yeah, I think it's pretty enjoyable. I'm not sure if it's worth um, $20 for what it is, but that's still like a decent price. Um, it's just not the kind of price um, I'd be willing to pay for a game like this when I'm not really certain whether or not it's going to be something I would enjoy. It turns out it was something that I enjoyed to some extent. I'm not sure if I would like buy it on my own account because my PlayStation Plus is through my dad. Um, so it's not like I would be able to like buy it on my own account. I think if it was like on sale for $5, maybe I would go ahead uh, and pay for it. Maybe it's on sale on Steam. I'd pay for it. Um, I have it on PC. Um, I'm not sure the graphics would be that much better, but $10, I might consider like buying it. Just support the developer, because this is actually a fairly decent first-person experience type of game that tells a really interesting story. Granted, a couple of letters are just extremely hard to read because it's back in the days when cursive was was a thing, and now of course we have computers and such. And cursive is kind of like only really just a mental exercise. Like I think there's studies saying that like learning cursive is actually like beneficial to your like brain development or something. But really, there's not much of a practical use for cursive besides from learning how to sign your name. Like that's literally the only use for cursive these days. It's pretty, but it's also pretty hard to read. Especially when you can't like zoom in on the letters. If I could zoom in, I might be able to read them, but I can't, so I don't. I'm sure there's a transcript somewhere from people who actually took the time to like really get a close look at it, or just plain good at reading cursive. There's a lot of loose threads though, like if I at first like the Psycho house was just like literally the house from the movie Psycho, because I think there's like the Bates Motel, but I think there's also like the actual like I think there's actually like some sort of mansion or like I don't know if it's quite a mansion, but I think there's a house that like he actually lives in. Uh, but from like what I could gather, it was like the uncle who was like did something. Uh, like kind of crazy, and they got arrested, and they inherited the house somehow. Um, because I think that would probably be like a little more of a stigma, I suppose. That like you're part of a family that um, that is like related to a guy who's crazy. Um, it was like just living in a house where a famous movie was filmed. Like that's more. That's got more of a coolness factor, I suppose, to it. Yeah, I would say this game is not for everyone. Um, I think like Alpha Omega Sin, I think says game is garbage. Um, although there is some feminist feminism elements, but they're not like they're really just kind of incidental. I don't think there's anything too heavy-handed in here. Um, I'm not sure if like the developers are like known to be like on the opposite side of Gamergate or whatever. I don't know. Like I try to stay out of that stuff. I mean, I'm a person who's kind of in between, where I can kind of see both sides of it. I think that um, to not go into too big a rant, I think that there is something of a problem with, I think, a lot the fact that most people who are actually speaking out against people like Anita Sarkeesian are like obviously very passionate about games. I'm very passionate about games, but I like at this point I feel like there need to be people who are like more level headed with their responses to these sorts of things, because I think that if Anita Sarkeesian like watches any of these videos that are like responding to her, or like tweets and things that come in comments that come at her, I think a lot of what she reads is "you're stupid, you don't know what you're stupid, you're." There's a video by Jim Gaffigan on a channel called Big Think, which is just it's interesting. A comedian, a goofy comedian, actually like being on a channel like Big Think. But he made like a very good point, and like toward the end of the year, it was actually in one of their highlights. They like reposted it as a highlight, and actually I do think it's a highlight. He talks about how like a lot of people communicating, particularly over the internet, tend to just use disparaging language and basically say you're a moron, you don't want to know what you're talking about, and that's not a good way to communicate to someone, you know, to get people to understand your point of view and your perspective. And people like Alpha Omega Sin, the Amazing Atheist, various other people who have made, even Mr. Repsion, who have made responses to these videos, they usually use very strong language, very negative language toward Anita, and I don't think anyone deserves that kind of backlash against them, regardless of what their views are, regardless of how ignorant they may be of gaming culture, regardless of how much there seem to be bashing on gaming culture, and calling it sexist. I do, and regardless of how much she may be kind of cheating the people who like actually help to raise money to make these videos. I mean, she needed to complete the series. That's something that's been criticized about her, but like I honestly don't blame her for not wanting to continue that series, because I think the backlash she's gotten, sympathy for the devil, call it what you will. I don't think there are many people who deserve to be responded to in that fashion, no matter how well reasoned their arguments against her are, and they are very well reasoned. They're laced with negativity towards her, and I don't think that's an effective way to get someone to see your point of view. That's all I had to say on the matter. I actually like people like Boogie 2988, even Monday Matt. If you want recommendations for YouTube channels, much more successful than my own, so like chances are you may already subscribe to them. But those are people who I actually like watch more often. Like I'm still typically subscribed to some of these other channels, and I'll occasionally watch them. I think the Amazing Atheist has mellowed a little bit, but he's still who he is. I rarely watch Repsion videos anymore. Although I think he's mellowed a bit too in some regards. I don't know. Tech USA is alright. He can still be a little mean-spirited in some instances. But yeah, I was talking about like political stuff, which I will not be talking about too often. It's something I've been wanting to kind of vlog about for a while, so this feels like a kind of a good opportunity, since this is kind of linked to feminism in some ways. I was kind of glad that the whole, you know, lesbian thing kind of was fairly apparent going in, because that was sort of spoiled for me, I think, in some of like the articles and things about this game. Although I was under the impression like main character, like what was the lesbian, and it turns out that the sister of the main character. So it's cool. It's also nice that it had a good ending. Although several loose threads, maybe in the sequel, Gone Home too. We'll find out what the heck was up with that crazy uncle. We'll unravel that mystery. Although I think that's one of those things that either there's like more to dig into somewhere in the game, or it's just meant to sort of make you think in an interesting way. I also like how it's set in the 90s, because that's like the decade that I basically grew up in. It also makes me feel pretty damn old, but but I was born in the mid 1980s, and it won't be too much more specific than that, at least. But yeah, I pretty much like the 90s was basically like the nostalgic decade for me. And I also say like the 1980s is probably like the last decade where I could like where music feels distinctive. That's like an interesting effect, I think. I wonder if it's like something to do with psychology, that basically like the decade that you were born in is like the decade that you like is the only decade, or like the newest decade, where you feel that there's a distinctive style of music or distinctive genres of music that were like tied to that decade. And like the 90s, and it was like grunge, I suppose, and I suppose like house music, and but I don't know, like I guess like rap music was pretty popular. um like I'm starting to kind of get that there are certain genres of music that are distinctive to the 90s, but um I don't know, like the 80s is like it's like a cross tree nostalgia, and also like feeling still like it's a distinctive decade for music, whereas I think like everything afterwards that feels distinctive to me. Um, anyway, I've gone on long enough. This is I kind of recommend this game. Like if you enjoyed my playthrough, well, there might be other things to discover. That I haven't discovered. So like you maybe shouldn't feel like uh, I would say if you enjoy my playthrough, like watching it, or just got some enjoyment out of the experience of watching me play it, like regardless of how entertaining I have been on my own right, I would say, buy it to support the developer. If you got enjoyment out of this indirect experience of watching someone else play it. Get it on sale. If you pay whatever you feel it's worth to you. I can't say like there need to be more games like this, because there are like more games like this. I think there will continue to be more games like this, and especially with VR being a thing. And I don't really have a problem with that. Although there's a careful line that has to be tread to make sure that it's not boring, that you keep the player engaged. And this game does a fairly good job at that, I think. At least for me. For others, maybe not so much. I also kind of wanted to watch the. I think Video Games Awesome covered this. Another channel I'd recommend. It's way more entertaining than I am at the moment. Like I'm hopefully gonna get better. That's why you should comment. Offer words of encouragement, maybe, or just constructive criticism. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks if you sat for this whole sort of rant, vlog type thing. It's something I've been wanting to say on an internet video for a while. Just like my opinion about that whole debacle. Even though I'm really late to the game, like it's kind of been over for a long time now. So, but. Yeah, if there's anything else to say, really, this is a pretty nice experience to help me wind down from what happened in Doom, and now I'm gonna have to go back to that and try to see if I can figure out where I'm supposed to how I'm supposed to go. Besides hell itself, down the line probably. So again, thanks for watching. Actually, I had something that's gonna add to the. If I could get an overlay on this, which I don't think I can, I was gonna have like a part in the middle where there was just gonna be empty space because I had like the Pixels Plays logo on one side and like Pixels Plays this game next to it, and then on the other side just the Twitter handle, which is by the way Pixels_plays or at Pixels_plays on Twitter. If you want to follow us, I do believe that it does post notifications in addition to my own spectacular DJ Gamer on Twitter, or Spectacu DJ Gamer. If you want to follow that account, I think it actually posted to both because I think I have YouTube. I think automatically uploads or automatically updates on Twitter, and I think my PlayStation account automatically updates when I'm doing a stream on that account. So I had a lot of people follow me on there, although I think the reason why I haven't gotten any notifications about the Pixel Plays channel is because it's an old email address that I haven't updated. So there's that. Smith has gotten some followers. I guess people prefer to follow live streamers on Twitter rather than follow them like on the site. So it's okay. Like as long as you're watching it and tuning in, I suppose. I'm kind of okay. Although I mean, subscribing is helpful because it's it tells YouTube that like people like me, or people want to see more. So that's important. So anyway, in the overlay, I had a thing which is LCS and DFTBA. So that might actually be my catchphrase at the end. LCS and DFTBA. Like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to be awesome if you don't catch that. I've kind of been thinking about what to do at the end of the video because, like, there is sort of a signature thing. So I think it's LCS and DFTBA. So yeah, LCS and DFTBA. And I'll see you in the next stream, which may or may not be Doom.